lot of questions since I've started making these videos about how I got started dumpster diving, some of the details on dumpster diving, and some personal questions about my life. So I thought I'd just make this quick questions and answers video for everyone who's been wondering some of the same things. The first question is, how did you get started dumpster diving and how long ago was it? I got started dumpster diving, let's see, it was October of 2010, and the way I got started was I was trying to figure out how to budget. I had just gotten divorced. My divorce was final that same month. So I was in the process of getting divorced. I had been separated from, I was separated from my husband, now ex-husband, like 3 months, and I was learning to live on a much smaller budget than I was used to. So a friend of mine, Kate actually, she got me the Tightwad Gazette, and it's a series of 3 books in one. One night I was hanging out with my friend Jacob, who lives downstairs. He was reading the book mostly and kind of cracking up over this. There was this chapter on dumpster diving, and some of the stuff in it was kind of funny. So he read part of it, and I was kind of thinking about it, and I was kind of like, you know, I'm going to dumpster dive. I want to try that out. I think it would be really cool. And if it's not, I'll find out. So I got started shortly after that, and I dumpster dove every single time I went to town. I live about 20-25 minutes from a town that has about 100,000 people in the county. It's not huge, but it's not small. So I kind of just circled the town, and I made the rounds, and I tried to go on different days and different times to see what was in each dumpster. I picked out my favorites and what I considered the most worth my gas, so to speak, because I didn't want to drive clear across town to the dumpsters that were pretty iffy. So instead, I dumpster dive mainly at ones that are close to the beginning of town when I go to town, and the ones that are most consistently full of great stuff. So that's how I got started dumpster diving. Once I started finding so many awesome things, I obviously kept going, and I started making videos for YouTube because I was pretty amazed myself at all the stuff I could find, and I wanted to share that information with others and kind of entertain as well, because it's kind of entertaining, I have to admit. Like the first dumpster diving video, when I was watching it, it's like, oh my gosh, I look like I'm gonna fall in the dumpster there. Which leads to another question. Where is it? Have you ever fallen face first in a dumpster? No, I have never fallen face first in a dumpster. In fact, I'm pretty steady on the sides in spite of what it might look like sometimes. I'm just rocking because I'm going to reach for things that are in there. One time I did almost fall out of a dumpster though. I was dumpster diving on my birthday, and I was all dressed up because the plan was that I was going to go out to dinner with my sister, and after dinner we were going to go to the movies. I think we were going to go see The Help. And that didn't work out because the waitress was watching some kind of ball game, and she was drinking a lot of alcohol. I don't know where, but her breath kept, you know, she was drinking. Our order took forever to get there, and then it took forever to get the check, and we missed the movie because we were there a lot longer than we had planned. So my sister's like, what do you want to do? You want to go to clubs and dance? And I was like, you know, it's not really that appealing to me, just not my thing. So she's like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to go dumpster diving, so let's go to Walmart and we'll get some of those flashlights that you can wear on your head, and do that. And she was like, are you serious? In those clothes? Because I was wearing high heels and a dress. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. It'll be fun. It'll be so fun. You'll see. So we went, and we were probably the most overdressed people at Walmart, but we went and got a flashlight, and I think we got a couple of snacks or something, and then headed out to dumpster dive. And she ended up having as much fun as I did. We were just running around in our high heels and cute outfits, getting a lot of stuff. Like, we got a lot of bread that night, I think, and bagels and that type of thing. no, not bagels, it was English muffins, which she really likes. I can't remember all that we found that night, but it was a lot of fun anyway. And one of the dumpsters, though, I was getting out and my high heel caught on the handle on the side of the dumpster. Some of them have like this handle type spot, although I have no idea why. And my heel got in that little space, and I started to go forward to, you know, because normally I'd jump out. My foot wasn't going with me. Somehow I managed to lift my leg as I was starting to fall, and I landed on my feet, so all was well. But that was a scary moment. I definitely don't recommend wearing high heels when diving, especially if you're getting in it. I mean, if you're just standing on the outside, it's not a big deal, but if you're going to try to get in to grab something, don't wear heels. Bad idea. Bad life choice. You might break something, like your teeth on the pavement. Not good. So, next question. Do you have a specific time of day you go dumpster diving? No, I don't. I usually go in the daytime because that's when I'm out doing my errands and I'm multitasking my dives. I very rarely go just to dumpster dive. I did on my birthday, and there's been a couple of times, but mostly I just dumpster dive when I'm out. So, has anyone come out of the store and found you? What did you say? One time, no, twice now. Twice now I've been found. The first time didn't go over so well. I had just pulled out this awesome leather chair. All it was missing is one wheel. It was at one of those big office supply stores, one of the big ones. And I'd also got, so I got paper supplies, cans of popcorn, a bunch of little random items, and then I was going to get that big leather chair, and I figured I could just get the replacement wheel at Lowe's or Home Depot, someplace like that. I got in there, I pulled the chair out, I lifted it out. It was kind of a lot of work because it was one of those heavy-duty leather ones. Got it out, and a store manager came out. Now the big mistake here is the reason I was caught was because a delivery truck had arrived and he went in and told the guy. So stay out of the way. If you ever see a truck pull up, even if they don't need to be next to you or in the spot near there, evacuate the area. Don't. It's not illegal, but who wants to deal with those complications? I know I don't. I don't want to be embarrassed or inconsiderate. Like, if people don't want to see that, which they don't, if they don't want to see that, or they don't want to deal with you, or they actually are probably planning on getting that chair later, you know, just avoid it. That's what I would say. It's just the most considerate way to dumpster dive. So anyway, the manager came out and he basically told me that the law was that I needed to pay him for everything I took out, or I needed to put it back. That's not the law. I didn't have the printout with me that day, and since then I carry a printout. Anyway, okay, so back to the thing. So I did put the chair back that day, and I really regret that because it was an awesome chair, and I had already gotten a spot in my vehicle, cleared out and ready to load it, and he didn't have a leg to stand on. Legally, I didn't have to put it back. I mean, what's he going to do? Call the cops and be like, oh, this girl over here is doing something illegal? No, I should have just finished loading it in my car and drove off and been like, whatever. But I put it back, and he put it in the store. So since then, I just carry a print off of the article that was in the local paper and the laws concerning dumpster diving. The other time I got caught was at the grocery store. This woman came out, and I was grabbing, I wasn't inside the dumpster that time, I was on the outside, but it was so full, I was just grabbing out produce from the top and out of this box, and she was like, she turned away from me and didn't look at me, but she, like, I could see as she was turning that she had this kind of funny smile on her face. And I kind of just stood there and kind of chuckled, and she's like facing away from me, which made it a little awkward, and I was like, are you okay with me grabbing this stuff out? Like, it looks perfectly fine for chickens. And so she turned around, she was like, oh yeah, I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me at all. And she's like, in fact, really, there's a lot of stuff in there good enough for, I mean, you to consume, because our consumers are very picky, and we have to throw everything out after it's been on the shelf for 3 days. So there's a lot of great stuff. And I was like, oh yeah. I suddenly felt more open. I'm like, yeah, I've noticed that. There's a lot of good stuff that gets thrown out. And I was wondering what your policy was or why it gets thrown out. She's like, yeah, it's just people are picky. If it's got like a spot from when it was growing, it was leaning against another plant, you know, that kind of indentation. They don't want that. They don't want any kind of blemish on their vegetables or fruits. And I was like, yeah, and a lot of them don't even have that. She's like, yeah, because it's just policy to throw it out after 3 days. I was like, oh, that's good to know, thank you. And then so I grabbed some stuff out, and she had a big bag of trash, and I was like, well, there you go, I made you a spot. And she starts laughing. It was just kind of one of those funny moments where we were just like laughing about it, and she tossed out her trash, and I left with 1 or 2 boxes of stuff. So those were the only 2 times I've been caught. People do see me when they drive by or whatever, but I haven't had a problem. Besides that one time at the office supply place. Let's see, next question.